On the morning of December 26, 2004, the world was still immersed in the calm atmosphere following Christmas. Across multiple regions along the Indian Ocean, the day began bright, warm, and seemingly ordinary. Beaches were crowded. Families walked along the shore. Children played near the water. Tourists captured moments of rest and joy. Nothing seemed out of place. But beneath the surface of the ocean, thousands of meters deep, an unimaginable force was beginning to emerge. At 7:58 in the morning local time, near the coast of the island of Sumatra, a massive rupture occurred within the Earth's crust. One of the most powerful earthquakes ever recorded in human history had begun. With a magnitude estimated between 9.1 and 9.3, it ranks among the strongest ever measured since modern seismic monitoring began. For nearly 10 minutes, the Earth itself moved. Tectonic plates that had been under pressure for centuries suddenly gave way. The Indo-Australian plate slid beneath the Eurasian plate in a violent and abrupt process. In some areas, the horizontal displacement exceeded 15 meters. At the same time, the ocean floor was thrust upward by several meters, almost instantly. This single movement released an amount of energy comparable to billions of tons of explosives. It was as if the planet itself was readjusting. And then the ocean responded. As the sea floor rose, the entire mass of water above it was displaced. This was not a normal wave. It was a massive disturbance that began to expand in all directions. This was the birth of the tsunami. In the open ocean, these waves were nearly invisible. Their height was small, often less than 1 meter, but their wavelength stretched for hundreds of kilometers. They traveled at incredible speeds, reaching over 800 kilometers per hour, nearly as fast as a commercial jet. Ships passing through the region reported only slight swells, unaware that a catastrophe was already unfolding beneath them. Meanwhile, along the coastlines, time was running out. In areas closest to the epicenter, such as the province of Aceh in Indonesia, there were less than 20 minutes between the earthquake and the arrival of the waves. It was far too little time for any large-scale evacuation. Worse still, there was no tsunami warning system in place to alert the population. Shortly before impact, unusual signs began to appear. The ocean receded. In some locations, the water pulled back hundreds of meters, exposing the sea floor like never before. Fish flopped helplessly on the sand. Coral reefs were left exposed. Boats toppled over. To many, it seemed like a rare and fascinating natural phenomenon. Some people walked toward the ocean, curious. Others began collecting fish stranded on the shore. Children ran, laughed, and explored the unfamiliar landscape. But this was the warning. Minutes later, a dark line appeared on the horizon. Something unnatural. It grew rapidly. The sound began to change, a deep and distant roar that became louder with every second. It was the ocean returning. The first wave struck the coast with devastating force. In many places, it was not just one wave, but a series of them, each more destructive than the last. In some regions, waves reached heights of over 20 to 30 meters. In Indonesia, especially in Aceh, the impact was immediate and catastrophic. Entire villages were wiped out within minutes. Wooden homes were torn from their foundations. Even reinforced structures suffered severe damage. The force of the water carried everything in its path: houses, vehicles, trees, and people. Survivors later described scenes that were impossible to forget. A deafening sound. Water coming from all directions. Massive objects being thrown around like toys. A complete loss of control. In Thailand, particularly in tourist areas like Phuket, the tragedy had an additional layer of shock. Many foreign visitors were on the beaches at the time. Unfamiliar with the warning signs of a tsunami, they did not recognize the danger. Some even recorded the retreat of the ocean, unknowingly capturing the final moments before disaster struck. Seconds later, the waves surged inland, flooding hotels, streets, and businesses. Calm turned into chaos in an instant. In Sri Lanka, the destruction was equally severe. One of the most striking events occurred when a fully loaded passenger train was hit by the waves. The force of the water was powerful enough to derail entire carriages. More than 1,700 people died in this single Ghutna, making it one of the deadliest railway disasters in history. Even so, the challenges were immense. Many areas were isolated, roads had been destroyed, communication systems had collapsed. In some locations, it took days for help to arrive. Amid the devastation, stories of survival began to emerge. People who clung to debris for hours or even days. Children found alone, unable to locate their families. Parents searching desperately for their loved ones. Each story carried pain, but also an extraordinary display of human resilience. There were also acts of courage, strangers helping strangers, communities coming together to save lives. Even in the face of overwhelming destruction, solidarity became a powerful force. As time passed, the long process of rebuilding began. Entire cities had to be reconstructed from the ground up. Infrastructure was restored, new systems were implemented. Today, the Indian Ocean is equipped with a tsunami warning network, designed to detect changes in sea level and issue alerts in advance. Yet, despite all the progress, the scars remain. For millions of people, the sound of the ocean would never be the same again. What once symbolized peace and beauty now carried a memory of fear and respect. Every year, ceremonies are held in memory of the victims. Monuments have been built. Names are remembered. Stories continue to be told. The 2004 tsunami was not just a natural disaster. It was an event that changed the world. It reshaped how we understand natural forces, how we prepare for emergencies, and how fragile human life can be in the face of nature. In the end, the ocean returned to its calm appearance. Waves, once again, rolled gently onto the shore. The horizon seemed peaceful, but beneath that calm surface remains the memory of a day when the ocean rose with unstoppable force. A day when, in a matter of minutes, the lives of millions were changed forever. And a silent reminder that even in the most peaceful moments, nature holds powers far beyond our understanding.